ChatGPT can sound confident and still make things up. That isn't a rare glitch. It's a predictable outcome of how the system generates answers. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why it happens and how to reduce it fast. Hi and welcome! Before we begin, I'm curious, where are you watching this video from? Let me know in the comments. I really enjoy reading them. Now, let's talk about today's topic. When people say ChatGPT hallucinates, they usually mean something simple. It produces a statement that sounds real, but isn't. It might invent a detail, blend two facts together, or confidently describe a source that doesn't exist. The surprising part is not that mistakes happen, humans make mistakes too. The surprising part is how natural the mistake can sound, because the language is fluent, structured, and confident. Humans have a strong instinct to equate fluent language with understanding, so the brain reads a smooth paragraph as knowledge, even when it is only a guess. That happens because the system's main job is to generate plausible text that fits your prompt, not to prove truth. It predicts what kind of words usually come next, based on patterns learned from huge amounts of text. If a question is vague or the topic is niche, the pattern is weaker, and the output can drift into something that sounds right but isn't anchored to reality. So a hallucination is not the tool lying on purpose. It is the tool completing the pattern in a way that feels helpful. Once you see it this way, you stop expecting perfection and start using it like a powerful assistant, great at drafting, explaining, and brainstorming, while you stay responsible for what is actually true. In this video, we'll break down why these confident mistakes happen when they show up most, and the simple habits that reduce them dramatically without turning your workflow into slow, painful fact-checking. A common reaction is, why doesn't it just check the facts before answering? The key is that generating language and verifying truth are different tasks. The model is optimized to continue your prompt with a helpful-looking response, not to automatically compare every claim against a database of reality. In many setups, it has no live connection to the internet or your files, so it cannot reliably look things up unless you give it sources. During training, it absorbed many kinds of text, accurate explanations, outdated pages, opinions, contradictions, and occasional errors. It doesn't resolve disagreements the way a human researcher would. It blends patterns and produces what fits best. When you ask for very specific details, exact dates, citations, statistics, or names, those details may not be strongly anchored in the pattern, so the output can fill the gap with something plausible. It will often do that instead of stopping, because completing an answer is more likely than saying, "I don't know." This is why hallucinations are more common with niche topics, rapidly changing events, or requests like, "Give me 10 sources," without providing any sources to start from. And even when it tries to cite references, it can fabricate realistic-looking citations. The solution isn't to demand more confidence. The solution is to add anchors, provide links or quotes, ask for assumptions, and verify the load-bearing claims. Hallucinations become dangerous because the system can sound confident even when it is wrong. Humans signal uncertainty naturally. We pause, we hedge, and we change our tone when we are not sure. But the model does not feel doubt, and it does not know when it is guessing. Every response is produced through the same process, predicting likely next words. You can think of it as a very advanced autocomplete. Autocomplete never stops to ask, is this true? It simply continues. That means a weak answer can be written in the same polished style as a strong answer. And because people are trained to associate confident communication with expertise, the tone can override common sense. A clean paragraph can feel like proof, even when no proof exists. This is why confidence is not a reliability signal here. It is a writing style. The practical takeaway is to stop using how the answer sounds as your quality check. Instead, ask for uncertainty where uncertainty makes sense, request the key assumptions, and separate claims from explanations. If the answer includes facts that matter, ask where they came from. If it includes numbers, ask for the source. And if it includes a list of references, verify that those references actually exist. In high-stakes contexts, treat confident output as a draft, not a decision. When you treat confidence as presentation rather than truth, hallucinations lose most of their power to mislead. Hallucinations don't happen evenly. They show up more often in predictable situations. The first is ambiguity. If your prompt has multiple possible meanings, the model must guess what you want. And a small misunderstanding early can create a confident but wrong answer. The second is precision pressure. When you ask for exact dates, exact quotes, exact statistics, or long lists of sources, you are requesting details that may not be strongly anchored. The system will still try to complete the task, and it may invent specifics to make the output look complete. The third is new or niche information. If the topic is obscure, rapidly changing, or not well represented in the training patterns, the system has less reliable structure to lean on. Another common trigger is format forcing. If you ask for a confident tone, a clean table, or 10 bullet points, the model can prioritize formatting over accuracy. Finally, hallucinations increase when you ask for hidden context. Laws, company policies, medical guidance, or anything that depends on a specific country, date, or personal situation. In those cases, the system may assume details you never intended. A simple fix is to encourage clarification. Ask it to restate your question, list assumptions, and ask you follow-up questions before answering. The good news is that these triggers are controllable. If you make the task smaller, add constraints, and provide references, you reduce the chance of confident guessing dramatically. You can reduce hallucinations dramatically with a few prompting habits. First, give permission to be uncertain. A simple line like, if you're not sure, say you're not sure, encourages cautious output instead of confident guessing. Second, break the task into steps. Ask for a short answer first, then ask for reasoning, then ask for sources. This makes it easier to see exactly where the response becomes weak. Third, ask it to restate your question in its own words before it answers. If the restated question is wrong, the final answer will be wrong too, so this catches confusion early. Fourth, request assumptions. Ask, what assumptions are you making? Or what information would you need to be confident? This forces hidden gaps into the open. Fifth, provide anchors. If you have a link, a paragraph, or a document, paste it in and say, use only this source. The system becomes far more reliable when it is summarizing provided material instead of guessing from memory. Sixth, require citations when facts matter. Ask, give the claim, then the source, then the exact quote. If it can't do that, treat the claim as unverified. Finally, ask for checks, not certainty. Ask it to list potential errors, edge cases, or alternative interpretations. For example, give me 3 ways this answer could be wrong. These habits keep you in control while still getting the speed and clarity that make the tool useful. Even with good prompts, verification is what turns this tool from risky to reliable. The simplest workflow is to treat the output as a draft, then check the load-bearing claims. Start by identifying the 2 or 3 statements that must be true for the answer to be useful. Those are the claims you verify, not every sentence. If there is a statistic, find the original source. If there is a quote, locate the exact reference. If there is a policy, check the official document. This usually takes minutes, not hours, because you are verifying only what matters most. A second tactic is to ask the model to separate facts from interpretation. For example, list the factual claims first, then the reasoning. That makes checking faster. Another tactic is to ask for multiple independent sources and then compare them yourself. If the sources can't be confirmed, you downgrade confidence. You can also ask it to produce a verification checklist and then follow that checklist. If your setup allows browsing or you provide links, require that each important claim is tied to a specific source. Use the tool for what it is excellent at: summarizing, drafting, brainstorming, and simplifying. Use external sources for what matters most: accuracy, freshness, and high-stakes decisions. With this habit, hallucinations stop being scary. They become an early warning signal to slow down and verify, while keeping the speed benefits that make the tool valuable. There are areas where you should be especially cautious, because the cost of being wrong is high. Anything medical, legal, financial, or safety-related should never be treated as correct just because the explanation sounds good. In these areas, you should use the tool to ask questions, organize information, or generate options. But the final answer must come from authoritative sources or qualified professionals. The same caution applies to anything that changes quickly: current events, company policies, pricing, product features, and regulations. If the information must be current, verification is not optional. Another high-risk area is personal context. A recommendation can sound reasonable in general and still be wrong for a specific person, country, or situation. That's why it helps to force the model to state its assumptions: location, timeframe, constraints, and goals. If those assumptions don't match your reality, the answer is automatically suspect. You can also request risks and alternatives to avoid a single overconfident path. And if you use it for technical work, like code, treat it like a draft: test it, run it, and review it. The rule is simple: the more consequences matter, the more human judgment matters. Used correctly, the tool is a fast assistant. Used incorrectly, it becomes a confident speaker with no accountability. Keeping that distinction clear is how you get the benefits without the risk. The main takeaway is not that hallucinations make ChatGPT useless. The takeaway is that fluent language can create an illusion of understanding, and that illusion becomes dangerous when people outsource judgment. Confident mistakes are a predictable byproduct of generation. They become a problem only when humans stop verifying and start treating output like truth. If you add simple constraints, ask for assumptions, and verify the claims that matter, the tool becomes extremely useful. It can save time, clarify messy ideas, and help you communicate better. The right mindset is to treat it as a collaborator that drafts and explains while you remain responsible for reality. A simple routine works. Ask a clearer question, demand sources for important claims, and double-check the few details that carry the whole answer. When you do that, hallucinations stop being shocking. They become a signal to slow down, check the key points, and move forward with clarity. The future of these tools is not about perfect accuracy in every sentence. It is about humans learning how to use them wisely, with the right checks, in the right contexts. When you keep that balance, you get the speed and creativity benefits without paying the price of misplaced trust, and you can use the tool with confidence that is earned, not assumed. And in workplaces, the safest rule is simple. The model can draft and suggest, but a human signs off on anything that affects people, money, or safety. If you enjoyed this topic and want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. If the video helped you, you can leave a like. If not, you can dislike it.